All right, let's see if we can knock this out in one take. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Monday to you all. You already know the deal with me in this game, man. I had a lot to say, and as you guys clearly can see by the title, I have a lot to man up to, but I had a lot to say about this game. One of my biggest, problems going into this game, especially, it really was a fear too, if you think about it, was the $70 price tag. Now, you guys know new IPs suffer. They're the main things Sony got to focus on. Like games that are established, like the Uncharted, the God of Wars, those games don't have nothing to worry about when it comes to the $70 price tag. But when it comes to new franchises like this, or potential franchises like this, new games in general, everybody's going to look at the price tag and immediately look at the game with a magnifying glass. And you guys saw that with Returnal. Anybody saying they didn't see that is clearly blind and are trying to push an agenda. And let's not do that in this time, okay? Let's seriously not do this. We need to legit be upfront with ourselves in order to make change. And with that being said, I got to say a huge shout out to Housemarque for the opportunity to talk to one of the developers behind this awesome game. Had the opportunity to talk to one of the sound engineers. And let me tell you, man, the sound in this game is fantastic, but we'll definitely talk about that in the positives of the review. A lot of cool stuff definitely that they've done with this game, but there's also some issues that definitely need to be talked about. Now, granted, for those of you interested, or not, well, I'm sorry, I said interested. For those of you concerned, I did give my complaints to Housemarque when we were talking to one of the developers, okay? So all that stuff got passed along, especially all the issues. So best believe we definitely, did our part in that particular case. But again, some people are still experiencing issues even after the latest patch, and hopefully one more patch will fix it before everybody else, jumps back on the game, etc., etc. All right. Now, what am I doing here? Let's go ahead and get into this review. Returnal. Where do I start with this game? Well, first of all, I'm not going to go into spoilers. There's no spoilers for this review. For those of you wondering, just sit back, relax. There's no spoilers. If I had to say anything about the story for Returnal, I would say that the story is very interesting. I think you'll like it in the long run. There's a lot of cool context you get to it, especially the clues that you find throughout the world and how it goes. I think the story is very interesting for the most part. And I think, you'll like it, especially going into Act 3 if you want the other ending, because there's two endings to this particular game. But it's pretty good. It's a pretty good story, well acted. Everything is well shot. The voice acting is on point. The way everything looks is fantastic. Presentation alone, it looks really good for the game. It's funny. I had this conversation not too long ago, long before this game even dropped, and dudes were saying, oh, the difference between 1800p and 4K is shadow quality. That should go and tell you how misinformed people are in this console space when it comes to, arguing in this console war for resolution. Now, as far as the resolution, me, I keep it a buck here. The way this game looked, every single step I took in this game, I was blown away. It looks fantastic. To any weirdo you see on the internet trying to blow certain things out of proportion, try to make it slant, this game is not visually, appealing. They're out of their minds. When you play Returnal, the game looks fantastic. Anybody saying it doesn't, clearly never played it and never experienced it. And that's all I got to say on that. So visuals look good. Story, pretty solid. Gameplay. Everything is fluid. Everything is super fluid. Everything is to the point. Guns feel naturally great. Each gun feels different with the haptics and the triggers. Awesome. Sound design, one of my favorite aspects, which they carry over into the DualSense. Everything is so different. It's so distinctive. Everything is so great. You can hear an enemy behind you and they're about to shoot and you just know what to do, such as jumping and dodging. Everything is so well done, it's so well executed, and it's definitely something that I personally would put up there with some of the best in terms of a game for PS5. This is definitely one of the highest. I would definitely put this one as the highest rated games when it comes to sound so far for the PlayStation 5. It is that good, and I really do recommend you play this game with some good headphones. If you got yourself a good pair of headphones, you're gonna be in for a treat from start to finish. I played these with the Game One headset, and oh man, I was blown away. So, get sound design, gameplay, awesome. All this stuff is good. But you might be thinking, what could possibly be my complaint for this game if you're giving all this good praise to the game? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the negatives. We're gonna get right into this. So, how do I go about this, man? The negatives in this game can range from the following things. Now, granted, I need to definitely say this too. I understand that this game is not one of those games that hold your hand. I know a lot of people prefer games to be super easy and take their time and, you know, show you the way, so to speak, you know, to get you through stuff. Returnal is not one of those games. Returnal, especially if you guys, you know, listen to the interview that we had with Rudolph from Housemark, Returnal is going back to that old school style of play, something that is rarely done as much in this gaming industry. You see, I said this even in the interview, right? I think certain things have spoiled modern gamers, such as like auto saves, you know, such as easy modes. All this stuff has spoiled legit modern gamers. Back in the day, we didn't have options like that. We had, you know, to manually save. We had to legit adapt and get good at games in order to pass and get to the next level. That's the type of stuff that I grew up with back in the 90s. I know it's a different era. I know it's a different time. I know I feel old the moment I said that, but that's just how we played back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Especially going back to, like, you know, if you go to like the Souls type games and all that stuff. These games are built and catered, these games are built and they cater to a certain player. Not everybody is going to be into these said games. Not every casual is going to pick up a Souls game and go, damn, this game's a 10 out of 10 because of XYZ. No, they're going to complain. They're going to ask for XYZ. And do I agree that a game deserves that? No. I don't agree that a developer needs to go back on their vision and change stuff for the sake of change stuff, okay? I really don't. This game is not for everyone. And that's kind of the, you know, the niche type of audience that they went for, right? It's in this small little bubble. It has its own type of following that it's going for. But the issue for Returnal is not even just it's not really the difficulty. The difficulty is fine for me. The issue for Returnal is the constant fear, especially when you're streaming the game, right? Everybody who has streamed this game that I know personally and who have played this game, who I personally know have beaten this game, has had an issue whether the game crashed, the game, you know, had glitches where it wouldn't let you pass areas. The game had sound cut out, etc., etc. Everybody that I know personally who has played this game, me included, has had one or two, if not all, these issues in this game. So when I see people complaining about the game, saying I had, you know, X amount of things and then I lost, you know, my game crashed and I lost it, best believe, I believe it. I believe it. It happened to me. And my final playthrough of the game, which, by the way, we streamed that game for like 6 hours in part 4. That's right. That's how long we were streaming. We streamed about 11 hours in one day for Returnal. That's how addicted I was that's how addicted I was to Returnal from start to finish, right? 11 hours in one day. And ironically, we had the best class in the game about an hour into the last playthrough. We had this ability called the adrenaline leech. The adrenaline leech gives you health depending on how much damage you do to your enemy. And of course, if you have, you know, your adrenaline up, right, you get healed based on damage. Now, there's this weapon in this game called, it's like an electric weapon in the game. I forgot the name of it. It's called the electro something. I'm just saying it's electro. But the electro gun that you use, you can shoot these little tethers at your enemies and it does prolonged damage. If you have the adrenaline leech with that, you can heal yourself over time and literally just be a god as you just sit back and just keep tethering the enemies till they die, and you literally have nothing but nonstop health, and you don't even have to worry about getting hit because you're pretty much good to go. Also, You know, on top of all that, aside from having the adrenaline leech, we had a second chance perk and we had the restructor on the same level. So we did everything right. We had upgraded melee, we had our health maxed out to the max, and you guessed it, the game crashed. But it wasn't a typical crash. It was a hard crash. Not only did it put my PS5 into rest mode, it did the, or not rest mode, but it put my PS5 into safe mode, but it did the whole 9 yards. And I'm thinking, did it save my particular progress because I was in the restructor? Of course, the game did not do that, and I had to start all over again. Issues like that are something that need to not exist in games like this, and hopefully they can fix that with the latest patch, because apparently it's still going on. That is one of the biggest issues for this game. My homie Blaze, yo, shout out to Blaze. Blaze had like 9 crashes for this game, and he still beat it before me. That should tell you something about Blaze 4K. He's like me. He's committed to games like this, but at the same time, sometimes they're not easy. It's not easy to do. I'll tell you that much. It's not, especially when you have a bunch of eyes watching you and enjoying the streams. It's very difficult to, pass that up and go, this was, XYZ. No, I played Resident Evil Village and I haven't had a single issue with Resident Evil Village. That's the last thing I want to see from a PlayStation title, is issues like this. You know what I'm saying? Now, I get it. It's Housemarque's first AAA game. I get that they were super, hyped. And I already know the passion behind Housemarque. They had fun making the game. We already know the whole 9 yards. We talked to them. We know that they were committed to the game. But I'm just saying, when it comes to the audience that you're going for and first impressions, you got to make sure stuff like this doesn't exist. That was one of the biggest issues for me personally for, Returnal. What eventually should have been, right? What should have been a 1 hour stream ended up being a 6 hours, 6 hour stream. Why? Because one, I kept dying from other stuff. For example, I got shot through the walls numerous times. I've fallen through the map a few times. Sometimes the prompts don't pop up for the grappling hook, and I fell and died or took unnecessary damage. There's a lot of things in this game that definitely need to be fixed, man. Let me tell you. But probably the worst glitch in this game was the audio. Like I said, I praised the audio, but in this particular case, I gotta take a few points away. And I told Rudolph this, he was blown away, and he even saw it live. But it was the live stream when we did in part 2. In part 2, you guys have to fight your way up the mountain, basically, and fight the final boss, okay? And we got to this part where it was a bunch of enemies on screen. They were shooting at me at the same time. And I kid you not, there was this crazy screeching sound that we got from the game, and it damn near made my ears bleed. It was so big in that game. It was like a crazy screech noise. It was insane. And then we had moments where the game would cut sound out the game and you wouldn't hear anything. BG had it the worst, I would say, in this aspect. But for me, I had a few like weird scenarios where I would lose audio. And ironically, that time when my game crashed, at the time I really didn't want it to crash, that's where I had lost my sound as well, too. So, again, things like that definitely need to not be in games like this. Now, overall, for me, how many times did this game crash? It crashed about 3 or 4 times for me, max, for the most part for this game. So, for those of you thinking I had a perfect run, I didn't. I didn't have a perfect run. I had issues like everybody else. Some people lost their save files. Others, again, lost progress, you name it. There was a lot of issues that definitely need to be fixed. But for the most part, that was pretty much, all the other big issues. Another issue, though, and it was definitely annoying to actually have, was the fact that trophies were not popping as well. So for those of you that did not know, yes, again, playing this game, we went through all the bosses. I only got trophies for probably like 3 of like the 5 bosses. Like 3. And everything else did not pop. I didn't even get the trophy for completing Act 1, even though we beat Act 1 and we passed all the way to the ending and got past Act 2. So, again, stuff like that definitely needs to be ironed out. But other than that, that's about it. With all the glitches and all that stuff aside, I do have to be a man of my word and admit when I'm wrong. And in this particular case, I'm definitely wrong when it came to this game. I went into this game thinking, I don't know, man, right? I have my doubts. But after talking with Housemarque and just playing through this game, I ain't gonna lie, man, they made a believer out of me. I'm definitely excited for the future of Housemarque and what they're going to do, and they definitely have my support. Absolutely going forward. I have no complaints for what they're going to do and at this point in time, and they are very talented and very just, committed studio. That's for sure. Returnal was great from start to finish. I enjoyed it despite all the deaths. I think I died like 70 times. There you guys go. Again, you're going to die, people. Don't be ashamed of it. Yes, I died 70 times, and I'm proud of it, and I beat the game. How many times did you die? Let me know in the comment section below. But as far as the actual rating for this game, I think it definitely deserves the score I'm about to go over right now. It's not a 10 out of 10, that's for sure. A 10 out of 10 would mean perfect. I mean, I had no issues from start to finish, and that right there is false. I had plenty of issues, so I can't go 10 out of 10. I can't go 9 out of 10 because, again, it was not a perfect run. If I would have loved to go 9 out of 10 for this, but it's just the issues definitely got the better of me for that part. So I think it's very safe to say that this game is an 8 out of 10. And I do recommend this to everybody, and I do think that you guys should try it. It goes back to our roots as gamers, and it definitely is something that needs to be more of in this community. And ironically, this is the game that broke the community, if you guys think about it. Everybody all of a sudden doesn't want to play a hard game, but beforehand they said that they were elite. This is why I say again, watch who you listen to out here, especially due to say the reviewers are bad, blah, blah, blah. The game isn't that tough, and yet they can't even show you a screenshot. They beat the game, but that's another story. That's it for me personally. That's the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do appreciate you guys for watching, and yeah, you guys be good. I am most certainly signing out. It's your boy Big Cloud Gaming, aka Ryan. You guys have a blessed one, and I'll see you guys later. I'm out of here. Deuces.